Hi guys, my name is Tanya and welcome back to my channel Project Podium. This is episode 2 of tennis in 2026 with Harish and Miraj. Thank you so much for watching our first video. We saw all the comments and you all made fun of us thinking that Zverev and Sinner are going to come in the finals. That did not happen. Of course, the opposite happened. So, what do you guys think about what happened in the semifinals and what predictions did we make?
I tend to go with my heart a lot more than my mind when it comes to predictions. So,
Well, Miraj told you last episode, don't make any predictions on this channel. It always goes opposite, and that's exactly what happened.
But the one that
you don't
was
ask for
supposed to go right actually went wrong because like Djokovic defeating Sinner was something that nobody really expected. Right? Because on the pod also we were talking about how one-sided that one was going to be. And if any game was going to be close, it was going to be Zverev versus Alcaraz. But eventually both of the games were close.
Yeah. But before I get into the semifinals and the quarterfinals, I would actually love to talk to Harish about what is happening in Mumbai, about tennis, what is happening with Indians in the Australian Open, because he's been talking a lot about it on social media, and I've been inspired. Viraj has been inspired, so we would love to hear from you.
Sure. Thanks for that. So I think Indians at the Australian Open, we had a couple of good people in the doubles draw. The men's doubles, as always, Yuki Bamri reached the third round, the round of 16. He was seeded 10th, so kind of lived up to his seeding, but did not go beyond that. Fell to an unseeded team in the round of 16. I think that was the best performance. We had Sriram Balaji also do well. I think they knocked out a good pair of Grand Slam winners earlier in the round. He and his partner Neil Auber Leitner. So that was a good performance in the doubles. We didn't have any people playing in the women's, and none of the women were playing in the singles or doubles. In the juniors, we had a couple of people. We had Maya Rajeshwaran Revati, who played and lost first round. We also had Arnav Paparkar, who's world number 40 in the juniors and India number 1. He also lost first round. Yeah, so I think at least we're having representation in the juniors now. I remember a couple of years back, I was seeing on social media that no juniors were there from India in these junior Grand Slams. So at least we had two in the singles. We had two in the qualifiers who lost final round of qualifying. And men's doubles, we did well. Hopefully, we get a good men's doubles result this year with Yuki doing well. He's almost close to the top 20. And some of the other guys also top 100 consistently. Yeah, so that's I think from the AO perspective. And coming to your other question about Mumbai, so I think anybody who's in Mumbai should definitely head to MSLTA this week. That's the Maharashtra State Lawn Tennis Association grounds, which is close to Kulaba, Churchgate. They have a WTA 125K event, the WTA LNT Mumbai Open that's happening. This is the fifth edition of the tournament. It happened last couple of years at CCI, the Cricket Club of India. This time it's happening at MSLT itself. You have a couple of good top 100 players playing. Lulu Sun from New Zealand, who reached the Wimbledon quarterfinals 2 years back as the top seed. Daria Seministia, who won the tournament previously, is the second seed. And there are, I think, 5 Indians in the main draw. India number 1 Sahaja Yamlapalli has a direct entry. There are 4 wildcards to the Indian players. Srivali Bhamidapati, Maya Rajeshwaran Revati is back playing again as a wildcard. Vaidehi Chaudhary and Vaishnavi Atkar, who's Maharashtra number 1, is also playing. So it's going to be an exciting week of tennis. Entry is free. You just need to go to the MSLTA website, download a pass, print it, and come on that. Matches are starting tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I think that's the usual schedule, 12 noon till evening. They probably have one feature match in the evening. Yeah, so I think it's a lot of fun. I've been there last few years. It's very exciting to watch the Indians compete against these international players. Last year, Maya Rajeshwaran Revati had a great run. She qualified and went all the way to semi-finals. That's when she had a big moment. Breaking through onto I think the whole tennis kind of consciousness in India and the tennis media kind of landscape. I'm hoping that she does well again this year, and even and otherwise, just the level of tennis as well is great. I mean, these players are all ranked between 80 to 150 in the world. The level of tennis is incredible. So definitely recommend that you guys should come out and watch it, and especially you, Tanya, come and see it with me other days.
I am definitely gonna come this week, like 100%. I'm gonna see you there. I'm gonna tell you when I come. Yeah. So getting back to the Australian Open, we thought that Aryna Sabalenka is going to win it. So, guys, are we upset or are we not upset about it?
Exactly upset as fans, but the result was something that was I personally thought that Sabalenka would win it. And this after, especially when she was 3-love up in the third set in the decider, right? And that's when she completely lost the track of the game. Rybakina was just good enough to bounce on that opportunity and take it to the very end. And also, Rybakina was flawless in that game, right? There were less errors. There were not too many errors, and she was hitting the ball cleanly. So that game was deservedly won by Rybakina.
Sabalenka was doing well. I think everybody expected her to win when she was up in the third set. Rebecca but played really well. They asked Sabalenka as well in the press conference, do you think that she played really well, or did you kind of let up and kind of slip up? And she said she just thought she didn't have any regrets. She said she just thought maybe she could have played a little more aggressive, but she gave full credit to her opponent. And I think Rebecca winning her second Grand Slam is a great story. She's number three again. So it's like the whole. I think there was a big three kind of in the WTA forming up with these with Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, and Rebecca. So I think hopefully if we can keep that consistency through the year, it'll be fun to watch how these three kind of perform.
Right. And I remember in our last episode, we spoke about how she's from Ukraine and she just had a baby girl, and it's a great story. And I think for what she's achieved is so inspiring in general. Like, even her interview after that, even the way she celebrated, looked like she really worked hard and she really wanted to get what she wanted.
And also, on the women's side of it, things are not as, how do I put it, not as fixated in terms of the results as they are on the men's side, because out of nowhere back in 23 Wimbledon, I guess we had Marketa Vondrousova win the title, right? No one knew her name before she came onto the scene. So the pool is very open. Coco Golf is there, right? So it's anyone's game. All the titles, all the Grand Slams are up for taking, as opposed to how it is on the men's side, where even before beginning, we sort of know that what's exactly going to happen. It sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. But on the women's side, things the pool is very, very wide open.
I've always followed women's tennis closely because my favorite player was Steph. So since then, I've just always followed women's tennis through the years. But I mean, yeah, I think it has its pluses on both sides. Sinner
Of course.
Alcaraz in the rivalry and the big three that was there, that was obviously like a whole different level of kind of
Yeah.
excitement and the level of tennis. And now with the women, they're kind of a diverse group of players who are kind of competing for the titles. As Virat mentioned, this Coco Gauff, Naomi Osaka is back in the mix, and she's like coming close to the top 10 once again. A lot of former Grand Slam champions. There was a whole kind of issue with Serena Williams coming back. Some more. She made had another interview, and she said she didn't deny that she was coming back. So that would be interesting if she comes back this year. Another interesting thing I read today, this morning, was Craig Tiley saying in one of his interviews that he would be happy to have a best of five for the women's semi-finals and finals next year. He's saying there's nothing stopping them in the rules. They just need to get a confirmation from the players. But his point was that when we look at the best of five matches that we had in the men's semi-finals, imagine having that for the women as well, having given them the opportunity to do that. And yeah, I think that would be a great idea to have the semi-finals and finals, or the last couple of rounds, to be a best of five for the women.
Coming to the men's side, which has been nothing but surprising, let's talk about the semi-finals first. I want to discuss what happened between Zverev and Alcaraz. What do you think the situation was?
Situation was not very complicated, right? So they were just for Alcaraz, it was just cramps, and Zverev was right in saying that there is no medical timeout for cramps. For instance, cramps is something that Sinner got while playing against Elias Presley in the second or the third round, right? And Sinner never stopped the game there, but Alcaraz did. So and this is somewhat of a gray area when it comes to tennis, that and the players, the stakes are so high here that the players take the liberty to push the line sometimes, push the boundaries sometimes, and you know how far they can go before uh, everything comes crashing down at them. Right, so that's what he did. But on the tennis side of it, it was flawless. It was amazing how the stroke making was insane. Right, whereas with a 6'4" frame, it is virtually you need to play that perfect passing shot if you want to get past him at the net. Right, and even his serves were so precise, so accurate, and that's how he went on to the five sets. But again, there were no real breaks of serve, right? If even there was a break of serve, the other player would immediately break back, and that's the reason why we had like what, three tie breaks, if I'm not wrong, in that entire game. And it was, I read it somewhere, it was like the longest semi-final or the third longest semi-final in the Australian Open
Yeah, I
history.
think it was the longest. Yeah.
Yeah, that game. So overall, it was an amazing watching experience.
Harish, I know that you're not the biggest fan of Carlos Alcaraz, just like us also. What do you think about the whole Carlos Alcaraz and Zverev situation? Do you think it was fair to Zverev?
It didn't look like it was fair when it was happening, but then it's always easier to be on the outside and giving a comment. I think so. When I read Alcaraz's press conference statement later, where he said when he called the trainer, he thought it was an adductor issue, and then the physio or the medical kind of person made the call to take a medical timeout, and he had cramps after that. So he's been a good sport. Otherwise, I mean, he's won, I think, the sportsmanship award. He's been known to be a good sport. I just give him the benefit of the doubt. I think even Zverev said that let's not make it a big issue. It was what it was, and it got done. Yeah, so I would leave it at that. But I think yeah, the tennis was great. I mean, coming back and winning from a breakdown that the final few games, I think both of them were playing incredible tennis. Zverev also, he's known to kind of play a bit passive when it comes to the big moments, but he was also really going for his shots, I thought, in the fifth set and really trying to win it rather than letting Alcaraz lose it. But Alcaraz
Yeah.
is coming up with some great stuff. I'm not the biggest fan, but I think he played well, so I think he deserved to be in the final.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was one of my I was so into it and it was so much fun, but so was Djokovic and Sinner. I mean, what the hell happened there?
I think this Djokovic just went back in the past. That was like turning the clock back for Djokovic. His entire career, his entire illustrious career was the culmination of that one game. And every single serve, that entire game was based on his first serve percentage, which was so high, and the number of breakpoints that he saved. Now, Sinner being Sinner, let had a lot of opportunities, but it was, I don't know, just not meant to be for him. I don't know what went wrong. The forehands of Djokovic were coming so perfectly. Uh, all the down the line forehands, all the forehands cross court were precise. And even the backhand. So there was nothing that Sinner could do. Sinner was not at his best level, because if he's at his best level, it is very difficult to get on top of him. But maybe a couple of level from what he usually plays at Sinner, and Djokovic just capitalized on that opportunity.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, I think Sinner just was maybe a little bit below his best that he's been producing so often, and that we have become kind of used to now that that's a standard as the norm. And Djokovic played great. I think having not done very well against him in the last few meetings. He'd been fresh. He didn't play. He kind of got a walkover, and then he got that kind of lucky break with Musetti. So I think he took his kind of chances. And I thought he played really well as well to kind of come out in five sets. Like especially what Miraj said about the break points. I think Sinner had a lot of chances to break, but did not break in those opportunities. Uh, Credit to Djokovic for kind of saving all those break points and coming up with a great five-set win.
So for the finals, Alec Nadal was there and he was supporting Alcaraz over Djokovic. And that's something what even happened. We obviously wanted Djokovic to win today, but we knew that it's going to be Alcaraz. How was the match for y'all?
So the toss, I thought, sort of was important because Alcaraz chose to receive, right? And when you on such a big occasion, you give the opponent to serve, they their pressure is on them. The serving pressure is on them. But then Djokovic got off the blocks very quickly, and he also ended up breaking Alcaraz twice in the first set. So 6-2 was done in what, 30, 38 minutes, right? So Alcaraz, we say this very little about him, but Alcaraz did not know what hit him. But it took great composure for him to recollect himself. And after that, again, after that, I guess it was all Alcaraz up until the fourth set, where things were a little tense on 3-all, on 4-all. Djokovic had one break point at 4-all. If he would have converted that, I don't know what would have happened. Djokovic was pulling the crowd behind him. The crowd was supporting him, but and that's very rare that we see. I mean, these days we see it very often, of course, but when Federer and Nadal were playing, we did not see that very often, that the crowd would back him. But it was great to see that. But again, it did not end up being Djokovic's day today.
was kind of also what we expected, that he might not be able to win against.
Yeah, I think beating two of them back to back, Djokovic, Alcaraz and Sinner, is kind of a Herculean task. It was like what I remember what the woman used to say earlier about the Williams sisters: you beat one, and then to beat another one becomes impossible. So I think that's what these guys are up against when they're against Alcaraz and Sinner. You can take down one, but to take down two of them back to back, it's a really Herculean task, and Djokovic just fell short in 4 sets today. Yeah.
But I think he played well. Like, the quality of tennis was insane. What are we expecting from tennis in the upcoming tournament? Any expectations?
I was just counting down the days to Roland Garros, and it's 112 days to the next Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it'll be fun. There are a couple of good tournaments. Dubai, Doha, they typically have good fields, and then the whole Indian Wells and Miami stretch that happens in the US, where all the top guys come and play that. So I think it'll be fun. It'll be Sinner Alcaraz again trying to lead the way.
We don't
Uh,
we don't know.
I mean, they'll be the favorites in those tournaments. I think any tournament they enter, they'll be the favorites, and I'm sure these guys will all be wanting to kind of take those titles away. Djokovic will have, I think, kind of renewed confidence in his game after reaching the final, but he's known not to play too many of the smaller events outside the slams. I thought it was interesting when he, in his presentation ceremony speech, he said, it's been a good ride. I don't know what happens tomorrow or in 6 months or in 12 months. So we don't know whether he'll be back next year at the Australian Open. Like, he kind of left that open, but I don't think he also knows at this point. So yeah, I think as long as he's playing, we should enjoy that for all his fans. And then I think at the other regular tournaments, it's a lot closer for the guys, kind of to try and beats in Alcaraz. A lot of other players can win these Masters titles or the ATP 500 titles as compared to a Grand Slam where it's best of 5 sets, 7 matches. So yeah, I think tennis is fun all year round.
Yeah, it is.
I think the interesting part now is also that ATP is available on fan code through the year.
Yeah.
That's a great. I think for Indian tennis fans, it's a great way to catch tennis through the year. And I haven't checked out what the prices are for the subscription, but I'm sure. I think fan code is generally reasonable when it comes to their pricing. I used that for the French Open last year, so yeah, at least we have the opportunity to watch ATP tennis through the year. Hopefully, somebody will come up with WT as well on their platform. That'll be great.
Yeah, hopefully. But thank you so much again, guys. It's always fun chatting with you all about tennis, and we will be talking about it soon again. And Harisha will be seeing you this week for sure in Mumbai. So everyone who's in Mumbai, please do come. It's going to be a great experience, and yeah, we should support tennis soon. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.